Welcome to our What Do I Do series. Today we are going to be answering this question. I don't want to be forced to take the mark of the beast. What do I do? See, today I want to talk about what is known as the mark of the beast. It's something that we're hearing a lot about. It's something that will happen during the end times, but the topic seems to have come up a lot because of the coronavirus and the coronavirus vaccine. I heard the other day that there were Christians who would refuse to get the COVID vaccination because they heard it could be the mark of the beast. And so they said, I'm not doing it. And suddenly Bill Gates became like the boogeyman. And it's like, well, maybe Bill Gates is the Antichrist. And the question is like, could the mark of the beast be the vaccine? Like, is the mark of the beast what? A computer chip? What if I get tricked into taking it? See, this is not new. Misinformation is completely rampant. This is what? If we don't know the Bible, we won't have the right information. If we don't know the Bible, we won't have the right information. So let's go to the true source of the Bible and see what it says about this mark of the beast. And where we read this is in the book of Revelation. Revelation is a terrifying book. And if you just pick it up and read it without having any background, you're going to be like, what just happened? But you have to read Revelation through the lens of Old Testament prophets like Daniel and Isaiah and Ezekiel. If you don't do that, you're going to be totally confused. At the end of the lesson here, at the bottom of the lesson, we did a whole series in Revelation. So if you're interested in studying Revelation, you can click on that link at the end, at the bottom of this video. But anyway, let's talk about what the mark of the beast is. First, know this, that there's going to come a time in this world that life as we know it on planet Earth is going to change. Someone will eventually come on the scene. He's called the Antichrist. He will be against Jesus. He'll most likely be from the Middle East because the Middle East and Israel is kind of like the epicenter of the end times. So Daniel speaks of this in Daniel 7. The Antichrist will come on the scene. He'll make a 7-year treaty of some sort with Israel. Possibly it will have something to do with protection. I don't know. Halfway through this 7-year period, the Antichrist will break the treaty. And then things just go downhill from there. But along with the Antichrist, we're introduced to his sidekick. He's called the false prophet. The false prophet is someone who's going to be nice and persuasive, and he's going to preach and try to deceive the multitude. But we know this about the Antichrist and the false prophet, and it's this, that they will both be empowered by Satan. We read about him here, Revelation 13:11. Then I saw another beast coming out of the earth. He had 2 horns like a lamb, but he spoke like a dragon. He exercised all authority of the first beast on his behalf and made the earth and its inhabitants worship the first beast whose fatal wound had been healed. And he performed great and miraculous signs, even causing fire to come down from heaven to earth in full view of men. What we're going to see is deception. We're going to see things that look real, but that really aren't. We're going to see things that are going to shock us and make us question if what we believe about Jesus is really true. The false prophet's job is going to force everyone to follow and worship the Antichrist. And he does that by performing things that are going to be like, oh my gosh, he just healed that person. You know, his leg got put back on, or he just was raised from the dead, or whatever it is. They're going to be true miracles that we're going to see on the news that night. But look at this. Verse 14 says this, because of the signs he was given power to do on behalf of the first beast, he deceived the inhabitants of the earth. He ordered them to set up an image in honor of the beast who was wounded by the sword and yet lived. So it seems like there's going to be something that we're going to have to worship something. And we don't exactly know what that's going to be, but it will honor the Antichrist. Verse 15, he was given power to give breath to the image of the first beast so that it could speak and cause all who refused to worship the image to be killed. And is it a statue? Is it a hologram? Is it a drone? Like, nobody really knows. It's going to be something that maybe technology will have something to do with it. I was laughing the other day because we had Alexa on, and it wasn't on, but we saw her light go on. And I said, I kind of think she's listening to us, but I don't know. But see, here's the bottom line is that if you're a follower of Jesus, you have to decide if your faith in Jesus is real. Because if it is, then you will refuse to bow down and worship anything or anyone other than Jesus. So the false prophet does this. He also forced everyone, small and great, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on his right hand or on his forehead, so that no one could buy or sell unless he had the mark, which is the name of the beast or the number of his name. This calls for wisdom. If anyone has insight, let him calculate the number of the beast, for it is man's number. His number is 666. This is where we see what we know is known as the mark of the beast. You will be forced to take this mark if you want to buy food, sell anything, purchase gas, any of those things. You will have to have this mark in order to do it. But please understand this. This mark is not even so much about buying and selling. It's about who you will follow and worship. As a follower of Jesus, you will know this. This will not be surprising to you. There's this line in the sand that says, if you take this mark, you are bowing down to the Antichrist. And God says, if you do that, you're not a child of mine. So this is what we say. One, we need to take our faith in Jesus very serious. See, so many people think, oh, something I do. I just go to church on Sunday, blah, blah, blah. It's not that way. Following Jesus is a life-altering decision that we have to know him very, very well. The second thing is we need to know this is coming, and we need to be prepared. We need to open our Bibles, study the end times. We did a whole end times conference with Joel Richardson. I'll put that below also. And you need to study it. Start looking in the news. Start looking to see what's going on around the world. And 3, you will need to know this. It will be a choice. You cannot be given the mark of the beast accidentally. Oops, I got a vaccination and the mark was in there. It won't be anything like that. You will have to choose to take it or not. And that means you are choosing between Jesus and the Antichrist. In other words, this mark will prove who you follow. And for a lot of believers, it's probably going to cost them their lives. But I always say this, good news is if we die, we spend eternity forever with Jesus where there's no pain and sorrow or tears, so that's fine with me. I want to end with these last 2 verses in Revelation 14:9. A third angel followed them and said in a loud voice, if anyone worships the beast and his image and receives his mark on the forehead or on the hand, he too will drink the wine of God's fury, which has been poured full strength into the cup of his wrath. He will be tormented with burning sulfur in the presence of the holy angels and of the Lamb, and the smoke of their torment rises forever and ever. There is no rest day or night for those who worship the beast and his image, or for anyone who receives the mark of his name. See how important this is? It's really important to know this, to know who you follow, so that when it comes time for this, you can say, nope, I'm following Jesus to the end. Revelation 16:2 says this, the first angel went out and poured out his bowl on the land, and ugly and painful sores broke out on people who had the mark of the beast and worshipped the image. We don't really know what this mark is going to be. I don't know, tattoo, chip, no one really knows. It just matters that we don't fall into the Antichrist and the false prophets' lies and deceit. What we need to know is the importance of following Jesus faithfully to the end. Hopefully that helps you. See you next time. If you want to know more about our ministry, womensbiblestudy.com. Email me at lisa@womensbiblestudy.com. Have a really good day.